Welcome, students, to ADHD School. I am your host, Trevor, with our other host, Carlos from Carlos Explains. Carlos, tell the people how you are doing.
I'm doing excited, whatever that means.
We're such good teachers. That's why everyone's going to love this podcast.
And would you believe this is our first take, our first try doing this?
Yeah, this is our first try. This is definitely our first try.
So a little bit about the podcast. ADHD School is basically a accumulation of all our random interests into one podcast. So we're gonna talk about conspiracies, we're gonna talk about world news, space news. You can imagine it. Basically anything that pops up that week that we find interesting is gonna come up. So if you're someone that is interested in a lot of different things, or you like learning about new stuff, or you like hearing about interesting things that you might not hear otherwise, this is the podcast for you.
Yes. It's definitely the basis of, I feel like both of us know a lot, have a lot of knowledge about different subjects. So this is going to be great for anyone who's listening and for both of us as well. As I love learning, at least. I don't know about Carlos, but I'm pretty sure he loves learning too.
Yep, for sure.
So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say a little bit of background on us. I have a biology background, a little bit of education. I work in a lab right now. Trevor's an expert in bird law. Trevor, you want to go into that a little bit?
Oh yeah, definitely bird law.
Yeah.
That was the most random thing. You know what was funny is I really want to get into chickens because I'm really interested in chickens. So it's really funny you said that.
Mhm.
Anyways, no, I'm a former teacher. I used to teach fourth grade. We taught all the subjects, so that was also pretty random and ADHD-ish, I guess you would say, as well. I got into software engineering, and then now I am working with LEDs. So I'm interested in engineering basically at this point in my life, but I absolutely love history in general and learning about random subjects all the time on YouTube, just like any, I feel like 20-something-year-old nowadays. Yeah,
Hey, Trevor,
I'm pretty
does
much
LED stand for something?
a light emitting diode.
That I learned something new today.
Don't ask me anything else because I might get it wrong.
Well, at least you got that. Wait, I also was interested in chickens at a point, and I was trying to do the math of how many chickens I would need to own so that I can kill one every week, and they would just keep populating and making more. And like it was like around like 40 to 50 chickens to be able to kill one a week. And like they keep making more and they age so I can kill it again.
And then you can keep getting the eggs. You can also do the equations there, I'm sure
Yeah.
too.
Well, they
Yeah,
make mad eggs. I wasn't concerned about the eggs, it was the meat.
that could be
But yeah.
into the equation though. You can,
Are you
I
actually
feel like.
seriously thinking about making like a coop and like doing that?
No. My mind went to something totally different, but I wanted you to finish your thought. So I have a fear of chickens in general, and I actually have no idea how they have evolved in general.
Hmm.
Like, could you imagine chickens in the wild, just like prehistoric humans, like trying to attack them? Like, what are these
Hmm.
stupid things? Like, then they just randomly grab it. It's just, I don't know. They're just easy prey, and then they try to attack everything, but they have like almost zero fighting skills. Like, I mean, they are very aggressive, but that's about it.
So you
So
cockadoodle don't like them?
I cockadoodle don't like them. For a little bit
Okay.
about more on my background, I grew up in rural North Carolina where there was a lot of chickens around, and I often would help different people out with their farms because I loved animals, and the chickens were my least favorite. Anytime you go into a chicken coop and there was roosters involved, roosters would come after you, and you're not supposed to run away from roosters, but guess what your boy did?
Hmm.
Every single time I ran away because I
Oh,
was
so this is like a trauma.
yeah, it's a childhood trauma. I mean, same thing with geese. Don't run away from geese. Geese just keep chasing you. Yeah. Yeah.
The funny thing, actually, one of like the few things that I remembered from high school biology was learning about the cloaca.
The cloaca. I have no idea what the cloaca is.
So a cloaca is, and you can like imagine yourself like as like a 15-year-old boy, and you can see why I'd find this interesting. So it's a sac that they excrete all their feces out of, but it turns inside out, and they also reproduce through it. So everything comes out of the same and goes in the same hole out of the back.
Sounds like a lot of UTIs and E. coli involved.
Oh,
I
it
don't
sounds
know.
like a lot of functionality to me. I mean, I always thought we had too many holes. That was just my thing.
That's peak efficiency, dude.
Yeah.
Garlic. We should only have one hole. We should
One
have the
hole.
eye, the ear, the anus, and the pee hole all in the same hole. And the nose. Yeah. We do have a lot of holes. I'm
That's
not going to
fair.
go into anything else, but those are the face ones at least.
Trevor, so we're both gonna say a conspiracy, and one of them is made up, and well, technically all conspiracies are made up.
Based on
But
true conspiracies, I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
guess.
But yeah, one of us is gonna say something that's based on a true conspiracy, and then one of us came up with our own conspiracy, and you as the audience have to guess which one is which. So Trevor, why don't you go first?
All right, so I'll go into my conspiracy. Let me pull up a little video for you. All right, well, yeah, we can. Yeah, so can you see my screen? Can we do the classic? Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good. Okay.
I knew him prior to him running for the presidency. I've often told this story. In 2014, he wanted to purchase the NFL's Buffalo Bills.
Right.
The price tag was $1.4 billion.
That's it?
He had one at the time, yes, because it's over $6 billion now with the Commanders and all that stuff. But at the time, it was $1.4 billion. My sources tell me he had 1.1. And he said to me, he literally called me in 2014, and he says, Steven, I'm going to tell you this right now, and this is a quote. If them motherfuckers in my way, I'm going to get them all back. I'm going to run for president. Those are his exact words. And so the NFL often jokes with me, so it's our fault when I tell them that story. And I said, yeah.
So, did Donald Trump run for president simply because he did not own an NFL team? So, I think it's really interesting. So, this actually goes further and further down the line the more you look at it. All right, so do you know who Stephen A. Smith is, first of all? I should have probably led with that, but that's okay. We're amateurs. It is what it is.
yeah. Stephen A. Smith is the guy that's obsessed with whether LeBron or Jordan is the best of all time.
Basically, yes. And he's now, yeah. And so that's basically what he's known for like years and years. He's basically the head guy on ESPN who debates things. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people like him. I just think he argues all the time personally.
Yeah.
And now he's kind of delved into politics, or I dove into politics a little bit. And
Of
so,
course.
yeah, just, naturally. So he kind of came up with this theory about Donald Trump running for president simply because he did not buy the Buffalo Bills in 2014. And I think this is an interesting theory because this actually goes pretty deeper because Trump has a very deep history with trying to own an NFL team, deeper than just in 2014. So if you can think back in 2016, when the election was going on, it didn't seem like Donald Trump. It seemed like Donald Trump might not run for president at some point in
Yeah, it
that
definitely
race.
felt like a joke.
Yeah, a lot of people took it that way at first, and then he kept going on TV. He kept getting more publicity. He kept getting more and more followers, and then eventually he became the nominee for the Republican Party. I think whenever he got on the debate stage, it was like, oh, this is serious, and he was just complete. It was like politics changed forever on that day. I don't know if you remember that. Whenever he was at the Republican debate stage with like Jeb
You're
Bush.
fat.
You're ugly.
You're
You're
ugly.
fat. You're a joke. You won't even stand up to me.
Yeah, I remember it. They literally didn't know how to respond. Like all the decorum and etiquette was like completely out the door.
Yeah, well, because it was the first time we ever had like the quote unquote establishment questioned, in my opinion. They never really had talked like that, like a normal person. Before they were just talking about like, they weren't questioning any norms where Trump was. He was like, well, why did we go into Iraq? Why did we do this? This is stupid. Like to Jeb Bush, he was like, yeah, your brother is responsible for 9/11. Like nobody ever said that before. So it was really interesting. But let me go back. So he was like actually a serious bidder to buy the Buffalo Bills. And I'll go into his past a little bit. But the NFL owners preferred the Pagula family, who ended up owning the Buffalo Bills today. So they end up getting about the same amount of money as Donald Trump, but the owners kind of prefer this guy, and I'll explain why later. And Trump felt pretty slighted by the NFL in general. So this really isn't the first time this has happened to Donald Trump, amazingly. Donald Trump once owned a team in the USFL. Do you know what the USFL is?
No.
So the USFL is a league in the 80s that was made to be like a spring football league where they took a lot of professional players that played in the NFL and they played in the USFL, or there were people that were mad at the NFL for this reason or that reason and ended up playing the USFL that were really good players. They had some Hall of Fame players in there. They weren't anywhere close to the NFL, but they were still competing. They still had really good players, good ratings, and he was actually the owner for the New Jersey Generals in the USFL. So he was known as a great owner. He spent a lot of money, and it really wasn't for the right reasons, and I'll go into that. Basically, it seemed like he was spending money not for his team's sake, not for the players' sake, for his sake. He wanted the USFL basically to get dissolved and then for his team to go to the NFL. And I'll kind of explain that. And this is kind of where the conspiracy kind of spirals out of control. So he holds a secret meeting with the commissioner of the NFL at the time, Pete Rozelle. So it said there was 3 people in the room. He was at the top of Trump Tower. It was Pete Rozelle, Donald Trump, and a guy who wrote a book about this very scenario. So
Are we still talking about Bulgogi?
No. So he is pierogi. Mr. Pierogi. Ada. No, so we are talking about the NFL commissioner at this point. So he is in the USFL. He is with that NFL commissioner at the time, not current to today's day, in the 80s, Pete Rozelle. And he's with this person, basically a journalist, basically to go ahead and write things down, transcribe, and be a mediator. So Donald Trump basically lobbies to get the New Jersey Generals in the NFL and throw the USFL under the bus. Pete Rozelle declines this due to Trump's reputation. He actually had a really, really bad reputation, believe it or not, completely different from today, of not paying people back, vendors back, whenever he would build up buildings. He wouldn't pay his contractors, and he wouldn't pay a lot of the workers their wages on time.
He had a bunch of failed businesses. I mean, the casino in Vegas that failed, Trump Casino. That was like a huge failure. I completely believe it. He was hit or miss.
But it's a different reputation, I think, than people see him today. A lot of people see him as a successful businessman today because he is a billionaire nowadays. There's no question about that.
Show.
That's true. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if you're a billionaire and you're known as a businessman, you kind of are successful no matter how you got there.
Self-made too. Only a small donation of $10 million from his father.
That's it.
I'd like to see you turn 10 million into a billion, Trevor.
a billions. What would I do with 10 million? I'd probably end up going bankrupt with 10 million.
100%.
I would just try to do something silly like make a podcast for $10 million, and it probably wouldn't work out.
All of it goes into the set. Just the set. The set is
I'm 20 years in. I'm like, it's gonna blow up one day. I had 1,000 views one time. Okay.
You know how Trump came out with the Trump coin and all that, and all that stuff.
Oh my God, yeah.
I was listening to these people that were talking about what if other presidents came out with merch, and what would that merch look like?
Who'd have the best merch?
Who would have
Which
the best
president?
Merch? Yeah. And there were people that were tear down that wall T-shirts.
Dude, imagine you funded your election off your merch.
You're right.
Who'd have? Dude, Teddy Roosevelt would have the best merch ever.
Mm-hmm.
Dude got. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Teddy Roosevelt got shot and then had a 3-hour speech and said nothing can kill a bull moose, and then kept speaking. And he's he literally put his finger in his chest. I forgot what he said, and he basically goes, what did he do? Sorry. He put his hand on his chest.
Into the bullet hole? He just fingered it?
Yeah, he put his hand into the bullet hole. Maybe I'm saying this wrong. But he basically made an analysis, and he's like, it seems like I'm still breathing and my lungs are still working, so I'm okay.
That's pretty hard.
And he was like, I'm going to make a 3-hour speech after this.
It reminds me of the time that Reagan, there was an assassination attempt. And then at a later, I don't know if it was the same or at a different speech, somebody popped a balloon and it sounded like a gunshot.
I've seen that, yeah.
And then he was just like, "You're not gonna get me." He made a joke about it.
Dude, I mean, yeah. I couldn't imagine. those people go hard who can actually like make a joke out of it. Like I'll give it to Reagan, I'll give it to Roosevelt for sure. But all right, let's get back to it. I don't even
You
know
heard it
how
here,
we got
folks.
there, but this
Trevor
is
is pro Reagan. All right, continue.
Trevor's. I I would like to go on the record. I am not pro Reagan. All right.
You heard it here first.
I would like to say I am not a Reaganomicist.
Mm-hmm. All
I
right,
don't.
so continue. So you were talking about the owner of the USL.
Yes. So anyways, the commissioner denies Trump's bid to go to the NFL, and Trump has a little hissy fit, basically, from what this guy has said. Not my words, allegedly. So don't sue us. Not that anybody's listening who would. I trust anyways. I trust you viewers. But anyways, next we have Trump's revenge. He actually lobbies all the owners to move the football into the fall. Why would he do that? Why do you think Trump wants to move the football into the fall?
Why would Trump want to move football into the... Wait, isn't football always in the fall?
So the NFL is. So there's two different leagues. USFL, NFL.
Yeah.
NFL is the big one. Whoa.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was dope. USFL is the big one, okay? I mean, NFL is the big one. USFL is the small one. So just imagine that you are a smaller company and you're like, all right, Walmart only sells in this time of year for whatever reason. I don't know. And you have your own department store and you are right next to Walmart and you actually compete in the other side of the year. So Walmart goes in the fall, you go in the spring. All of a sudden you're like, I'm going to compete with Walmart in the fall. Why would you do that?
I'm out of spite, and also it's just it could be a smart move. I mean, during the fall is when everybody's interested in football and everybody's in like the football zone and there's fantasy leagues and all that stuff. So he's just trying to steal from that viewership of the NFL.
That was his thought process. That was what he said, at least. That's something also the owners did not agree to. They said this is a silly idea. Like, why are we going to spend money doing this? We're doing just fine. The NFL is the bigger league. We know that, but we are a competing league and we're doing well. Trump has a lot of power in the NFL and the USFL. A lot of the TV executives at the time would only air these USFL games because of the New Jersey franchise, simply because that was the biggest team, that was the most viewers. Trump owns that team. So whenever he says we should do that, they all have to listen, no matter whether they like him or not, whether they agree with him or not. They have to listen to him. So he says, okay, you don't agree, I will go to the TV executives myself. So the next thing he does, he goes to the TV executives, and he basically he basically says, oh, okay, TV executives all said it was a good idea. He goes back to the NFL owners. He tells everybody, all these TV networks, they agree. CBS, NBC, all of them agree that this is a great idea. It was a reveal later that these were complete lies that he told them, and he just wanted to put it in the fall. So
Nice.
Yeah, nice. So USFL gets moved to the fall. It's a complete disaster, and he actually had a backup plan to sue the NFL.
Okay.
Because of monopoly laws, antitrust laws, basically. So USFL is not doing good. He goes and sues, basically says NFL has a monopoly. I want you to guess how much money they win after spending billions and billions and billions of dollars on this lawsuit. Now, granted, they win. They win the lawsuit.
I want to say 55 million.
55 million. Okay. I'll tell you it's a little bit lower than that, just a little bit. It was a whopping $1. But
Okay. So it was like a gimmick.
But guess what? It's 3 times the amount because it's an antitrust case. So guess how much money they won?
$3.
They won $3. They have a check for $3.
That's nice. That's almost spiteful.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. All this money goes into this. I mean, at this point, the USFL has to dissolve, and we're talking NFL Hall of Famers later on are playing in this league and end up going to the NFL. We don't know that today at this point in time in 1980 something. They had Steve Young, Jim Kelly, Herschel Walker in this league, many more players that end up playing in the NFL being very successful. Like, this could have worked, but Donald Trump basically dissolves this league. Basically, to become an NFL owner, theory is that Donald Trump simply wanted to be an NFL owner. He knew that if he moved it to the fall, the league would fail. He hoped to gain enough momentum to compete with the NFL, and they would be forced to a merger where they would have to accept the New Jersey Generals as a new franchise in the NFL. That's my analysis of it. So that's what I think. This is my theory. This is something that I think, or maybe the people think. fast forward to what we were just talking about. Back to the deep dive. Trump was a serious bidder to the Bills. All right. We know that. What if Trump gets the team? Like, what if Trump ends up getting the team to the Buffalo Bills? Do you think he actually runs for president? Because honestly, I don't.
Why? Why not?
Because why would he? He has everything he wanted with the Buffalo Bills.
I think he's always had everything he wanted. There's no such thing as having everything you want when you can have anything you want in the world.
Yeah, but I feel like he was great whenever he had a reality TV show, right? Where in the 80s, when he had 90s, when he has this celebrity kind of look to him and he's able to have public, weddings and all this stuff and date celebrities. Like, he loves being in the public eye. What if he's in the public eye and makes the Buffalo Bills and the next best franchise, which he probably would spend enough money to make? He would probably end up being a good NFL owner simply because he would want to look good. Instead of thinking his team would look good, he would make his team look good so he would look good, if that makes sense. Because honestly, when you look at these NFL owners, it's a popularity contest. Has nothing to do with how they actually feel about the team. Like, they're just trying to win a popularity contest. It's not that great. Like, it's not that beneficial if you own an
You honestly
NFL
feel
team.
that way? I don't know if it's because I'm not like a super big sports person, but like legitimately, I feel like every sporting event or everything, whatever, I just never ever hear about the owner. Like, I always thought team owners were just kind of like silent, like money, like businessmen. Like, they weren't like in the face of the team or anything like that. Like, do you know some like famous owners that are like the face of the team?
I do because I'm into sports, but I could see how you wouldn't. But I have an answer for you. I don't think the billionaires care about what you think and I think. I think they care about what each other thinks.
Oh, of course. It's who
So
has the biggest yacht.
Yes, exactly. So if they have the better NFL team compared to the other 31 billionaires, because there's 32 teams, if I have the best team out of all of them, like, I get to go to my next owners meeting and tell everybody how great
And the
I am.
Buffalo Bills are the best team out of all of them?
Oh, they could be. I mean, they're one of the best teams right now, and I could see Donald Trump taking it over and making it a good team simply because he has the money to do so. They never won a Super Bowl.
They've never won a Super Bowl. What are you talking
right now, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
the last few years they have been a good team. And I think he would, like, look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs didn't win a Super Bowl for a while, and the Chiefs are really good now. Like, it's all circumstantial. Anyways, this is where my deep dive actually goes into a deep dive. I'm sorry to go into this so much. But does the MAGA movement actually happen? And what happens if you don't have the MAGA movement?
If we don't have the MAGA movement?
Yeah, because the MAGA movement was so big in 2016. Do you not remember, like, even I was kind of like excited about politics. I was like, what is going to happen? Like, this is kind of crazy. We've never seen this before.
Well,
let's say Trump doesn't run.
Without Trump and without the MAGA movement, legitimately, couldn't imagine Republicans winning another election. Well, two things. Twofold. If the Democrats didn't put Hillary up, I legitimately, I've had this theory for a while that I blame Obama for Trump, legitimately.
Okay.
Just because, he made a deal with the Clintons back in the day, and that's why he was so pro, like, pushing for Hillary. And even though, Joe Biden, existed, he would have been a great candidate to run for president, but he didn't have Obama promoting him, and you needed the president's promotion if you wanted to win, like, your party's approval. So I just think Hillary was a horrible candidate. But if it wasn't for Hillary, I couldn't see Democrats losing another election. I mean, nobody was going to vote for John McCain. Like, in this modern world, like, the old school Republicans just didn't fit in, and like in this modern, like, youth and everything. So Trump and the MAGA movement really revolutionized everything because they made it, the Republicanism, they made it hot. They made it, like, funny. They made it like, like a layman can appreciate and understand it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can probably go into that a little bit of what I think about the Democratic side, what you're talking about. I can actually vouch. I won't go into that, though, because that's just, like, it's going to take us off topic too much, I think. But when it comes to Republicans, I actually think they had somewhat of a movement where you had the Tea Party movement still, but you still didn't quite have that MAGA movement, and I think they still could have won. Like, I think about Mitt Romney. It's not like he got completely blown out in the election with Obama. Like, Obama lost support since his 2008 election going into 2012, and Mitt Romney is probably your prototypical like Republican, honestly. Like he's just like the generic Republican. So I think Democrats being in office for 8 years, they simply would want to do something else. Like the
Wasn't Mitt
people.
Romney the guy that drove with his dogs on the roof of his car, like in crates, and they were just pissing themselves and do you remember that? Was it Mitt Romney?
I don't know. It could be. I don't have no clue.
I
But that would
remember.
be crazy. What is with
Yeah,
Republicans and dogs?
yeah.
There's some crazy stuff I've definitely have heard.
Yeah, Romney had built a windshield for the carrier. Their dog, Seamus, rode in the carrier on the roof of the family Chevrolet. There's a well-known story about Mitt Romney and his dog, Seamus, during a family vacation in 1983. Why were they bringing up something that happened in 1983 in like a 2008 election?
Because Donald Trump doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, I
Think
guess
of-
that one was like, oh my God, can you believe
Dude.
he drove with his dog on the roof of his car? That
Dude.
is so like not news now.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Everything has changed. Think about like Watergate. Remember when, if like for Nixon? Anyways,
Yeah.
that goes into something else.
You remember Obama's tan suit? Could you believe it? How unprofessional.
He smoked weed before, guys.
Yeah.
I remember that. It was like he was like, "Yeah, I've smoked weed before." He didn't say it, but he said it in so many words. Like, "Yeah, I did that when I was like 18
In college.
So, yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen." So, anyways, so here's my theory, and I completely understand where you're coming from. But just hear me out about what I think is going to happen. I think Jeb actually takes the nomination for the Republican Party. I don't know if you remember, but Jeb Bush had so much money behind him, and it was part of the push to get Jeb out of there and to get Republicans to get somebody new. But you also don't have those MAGA people being diehard Republicans yet. They're still independents. So a lot of those MAGA people ended up voting for Bernie Sanders, for example, or wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders and the Democratic side. So it's kind of weird when you have two completely polar opposite candidates, but also offer the same thing where it's different. A different kind of system. But I don't think people are listening at this point if Trump doesn't enter the race. I don't think the populism movement really takes place where like literally the most popular candidate is your nominee. It wasn't always that way. It was whoever had the most money and could convince the independent voters to vote for you and not completely cater also on your values. So I think he clears the way for Bush to win. I think it's going to be a tight race, but in my opinion, I think he just had so much donor support. So then you have a dynasty matchup. I think the same thing happens. Like what you were saying, Hillary Clinton ends up being the nominee. And I think it's silly that she ends up nominee. And I know you could possibly say Bernie Sanders could be the nominee. And the only reason they didn't run Bernie was because Trump was on the other side. But hear me out. I don't understand that theory whatsoever. Like Hillary would have beaten Trump and Bernie Sanders wouldn't have.
No, Democrats hate Bernie. They hate Bernie.
That's my point. I think they honestly just hated Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
I think the general election is closer than expected, and I think people honestly really, really did not like that the Democrats just picked Hillary Clinton just because. And I think her emails still come out, and I think it significantly impacts the election still. She had a lot that was really bad with her, whereas Jeb Bush just seems like a pretty good guy. And unfortunately, Hillary Clinton didn't have a lot going for her. They had been in office for 8 years, so they have so much to go after. No matter what, if you're in office for 8 years, they're going to go after you for over all those 8 years. You're going to do something wrong. So I think the Feel the Burn movement supporters, I think those people get upset. And I actually think that a lot of those people, again, were like MAGA fans too. So I don't think the MAGA people aren't exactly Republicans. I think they're still independents. And alternate timelines, I'm going to go into this a little bit. I think there's going to be status quo politics still. It's going to be pretty bland, 26 to 2019. Fewer scandals, status quo, limited excitement, or really upheaval in general. Everybody's just kind of upset. There's not a lot to be really happy about. But the pandemic hits. And I don't know if you remember Jeb Bush whenever
I'm sorry, you mean the plandemic?
The plandemic? It could have, it definitely could have been a plandemic. But nonetheless, in my opinion, I don't think they tried to do it. I think that it was in a lab and it just got out and they were like, oops. And it was like they did not know what to do. And it was like, that's just my opinion. I just think they just didn't tell anybody, basically.
Yeah,
but
I think it was just poor management.
Yeah, it's hard to keep a secret. That's my
Did you
my
see? I
opinion
saw
on
this video of like this. I don't want to say their nationality, but because I don't remember. But I legitimately don't remember, so I don't want to get it wrong. But this
Okay.
student, this PhD student, was coming from a foreign country, and they just had a bunch of viral live viruses in their luggage traveling from their country to the United States.
That's wild. Like
And
what?
like, yeah. And like, obviously they were arrested and they were captured. And what was wrong, what was shady about it was that they would lied about it. And they
Yeah,
were like,
well,
instead of being like, oh, I'm a PhD student, this is my research, I have it in a secure container, I have all this document. They lied about it and pretended they didn't have it. So that's so sketchy.
also props to the workers, I guess there. How would you find a viral, like I don't know. I feel like if it goes through the
How did it
machine.
find the virus? It's so tiny.
No, I'm serious. Like, how do you just randomly find a virus in the airport? Did they like isn't it aren't they just like possibly in like jars and then like just I don't know.
They could be in like a little vial of liquid. Like
Yeah.
literally, you would eat eye drops. Like an eye drop container could contain like a live virus. You know what I mean?
It's definitely interesting to think about.
Yeah.
That's
No,
crazy.
good for them. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna finish this up fast. I told you this would be long. This is a lot longer than I expected, but we're gonna get through it because it's so interesting. So
Mhm.
I think Bush freezes in the crisis. The reason why I think that, do you remember him during the Republican nomination and the debates? I mean, not nomination, the debates and what Trump was doing to him.
Mm.
Trump was just bullying him the whole entire time.
At that point, he's like super old, right?
Jeb
Bush.
Bush.
Oh no,
Jeb
not
Bush
Jeb
is
Bush.
younger
I was thinking
than.
of George Bush. Yeah.
No. Jeb Bush is younger, but he was basically like, your brother did 9/11, and he didn't have any response. And he just went into Iraq, and he's
Yeah.
like,
That's.
you don't talk about my younger brother like that. And he's
There's
like,
nothing you could do.
he's like, and then Trump did the and it was just like so funny. And I don't know. After seeing that, I don't think Jeb Bush would have a good response to the pandemic. I think it would be pretty similar. He would just like try to keep everything cool, and then it would just
I don't
everything
think
would blow.
anybody would have handled the pandemic well.
Oh, New Zealand handled it well.
Of course, when your population's 7, I imagine it's not hard to keep people safe. Like, I'm sure if
Let's keep
my
all your
small,
economies completely still just for 2 months, guys. Just for 2 months. Like
when
imagine,
you're already
especially
pretty
then.
self-sustaining and like you have like and your population is so homogenous. I mean,
Yeah. Hopefully this helps for the future if we actually have like a zombie pandemic or something,
oh
so we
yeah.
know what to do.
Do you remember
Thinking
when you
about that.
couldn't get toilet paper? When everybody,
Yeah.
the first thing
That was
everybody did
great.
was like, and it's so stupid because it's like the one thing that you really don't need. Like you can just like wash or like use water. Like it's like not like, but it's
But
what
you had to get it. But you had
yeah,
to get it, right? Because
everybody
everyone
was
else is getting.
everybody
And
was
then
getting.
like I remember being in a teachers meeting and this this lady goes, if anybody needs toilet paper, my sister in Ohio got 550 packs of toilet paper. I was like, what? I was like, you're the problem.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's too funny. Okay. Anyways, Bush struggles. Bush doesn't do well. Trump endorses Bernie in an alternate timeline, in my opinion. I think they both see themselves as outsiders and anti-establishment, and they want to break the establishment. They don't agree on anything really, but they both agree they want to break the establishment.
Bernie and
And
Trump.
I think Trump and Bernie, I think
Yeah.
they both feel the same way where it's like something's not working. I think they both have different ideas to go about it, basically. So I don't think they go. I mean, it's like Musk and Trump now. It's like at first it was just like, oh, whoops. It was like, what are we going to do to fix the country? It was like, we're going to break this and this and this. And then they didn't agree on the ideas. So I think it's going to be actually somewhat similar to that. I think Bernie goes more independent. I don't think he goes as far left as he usually does. I think he tones down a lot of his sentiment. I still think he says tax the billionaires, that type of thing, but I don't think he goes as far when it comes to social politics, basically. Like environment and I guess like racism in general, or races, I guess. Because that became big in 2020. And I think he actually kind of sways to the middle there socially, but economically he goes left.
You're saying racism got big in 2020?
I think there was
It went viral.
a certain movement. I do think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the George Floyd movement, right? Was in the George Floyd era of
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter.
There was also this movement. I don't know if you remember when everybody posted this on their Instagrams. Wait, hold on. I'm white.
I
so
just
it doesn't
I
work.
just see powerful
we go.
white supremacist hand.
I think it was supposed to be black, but
Oh yeah,
you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'm just
I
a
know what
white
you're talking about.
supremacist, I
Yeah,
guess.
no, I definitely. So this is what I think. Trump honed in. He honed in on something very primal with us, and that was that. The us versus them mentality. Instead of telling the South basically you're uneducated, and you guys need to invest better in infrastructure and your education and less on guns, on racism and less on this and that. Instead he said, oh no, the problem is the Mexicans are the reason why you're all poor and you're all doing, that's why
He's the
it's
old
another.
Yes. He's the ultimate deflector too. Because
Mhm.
as soon as people go after that, he just says something else crazy. Or he's like, you know what? We'll build a wall. We'll do this. We'll do that. And then it's like going after that, and then he'll say something else, and then everyone wants to go after him after that. He's the ultimate deflector of all time. Like he is so like I admittedly he is so good at that.
Yeah. I saw a
Whereas
dude
other people just aren't.
in my gym today that had a t-shirt that on the back it said, I'm not listening to gun laws made by people who armed the Taliban. Like that was like the back of his shirt. And I was like, that is awesome, dude.
We need to
But
get him on the podcast. I want to know his opinions.
for sure.
Sometimes I just want to know what goes through someone's mind. And honestly, there's usually a rationale behind it, and then it just spirals out of control. And it's
I mean,
like,
I
all
get
right.
like an angsty teen, but I just think it's fun. Like I had a shirt in high school that said God doesn't exist, so no one loves you. And it got me.
Jesus,
That
who were
was
you?
that was my angsty phase. We all had an angsty phase.
Apparently, it was all of high school.
Yeah,
Was just listening to his emo music in his bed, like,
for sure. Ocho calls it. Yeah, so you were saying Trump.
yeah. So basically, I think Bernie Sanders runs for president. I think Trump endorses him heavily, similar to how Musk does now. And they both get into the populism movement against Jeb Bush, and Bernie ends up being president. And something similar happens to today's timeline, where Trump ends up going after Bernie a little bit and then gets more independence against Bernie. He makes his own party. And then I think Marco Rubio ends up running for president and wins because Trump runs for the third party.
Okay, so your theory is that if Trump caught the Buffalo Bills, he never would have ran for president. Bernie
No, he
won.
would have in 2024.
He would have been 2024. Okay,
And he makes
but
his
do
own
you think
party.
Bernie would have won?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Bernie gets remember inflation, how bad that was?
Still is, yeah.
Yeah. So no matter what Bernie would have done, he would have been blamed for inflation.
Yeah. No, inflation was bad around the world.
Yes.
It was a worldwide thing. The pandemic screwed everything. Everybody was saying, "Oh, you're the reason why inflation, deflation, this, inflation, that." Inflation was going on everywhere. Like
He would
there's
have
not much
been
you could do.
so unpopular though. Like he would have been so unpopular if he goes in 2020 because like I said, inflation's bad. He goes away from identity politics, which I mean, it's kind of what got some people elected in my opinion or close to it. Maybe it helped them a little bit, maybe not elected. But anyways, he stays away from identity politics and then it's like, well, what is the Democratic Party now? And then Trump runs for independent. And he goes, this is so stupid. Like, why are we doing this? Because remember, Trump wasn't a Republican until 2016. Trump, in fact, called Republicans the stupidest people. It wasn't. I think he just wants.
But on your point of identity politics, I actually think that hurt the Democratic Party a ton. I think that's
I think it backfired for sure.
that's something the Democratic Party is trying to stay away from. I mean, one of the most popular campaign videos from the most recent Trump campaign was what? She's for they, them, he's for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and they ran on that platform for so long, but then it's also like there was no stop. There was no like stop to it. It was like, okay, we want equal rights for everybody, but then it became like, okay, but what if this happens and that happens? And then they just kept going further and further down the line. It was like, okay, we want to give everybody rights and we want everybody to have an equal say. Basically is what it comes down to. But what happened was they leaned way too much into that where unfortunately a lot of the population just didn't understand it. And so not that I didn't agree with it. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Is that the end of your?
I will say that's the end. I could have said so much more. Oh my God. This is great. Like, I wish this would do this the whole time, but
Yeah. I wish I had a trigger so that when you got serious,
I'll
like
give you a
slow
button.
hand. Yeah.
Or just when I'm not serious.
Okay.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
my conspiracy. Have you heard of Tinder? Have you ever used Tinder?
I have used Tinder. Yeah.
Did you like just swipe like right, just trying to get a girl? Like, did you go through that? Because I did that.
Dude, I was in college before, of
Mhm.
course. We all were into, especially when we first got Tinder. It was like
Uh-huh.
crazy. It was like there's this thing called Tinder, and it was like wild.
I've matched with people and talked to people, but I've never like actually met up with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never actually
I
successfully.
mean,
And then I also had an awkward moment where somebody I went to school with later, I realized that we matched on Tinder. And it's like, how do you interact with someone like normally that you matched on Tinder with and you just run into and like, but you never spoke to, but we matched on Tinder. And it's just like, you know what I mean?
you know what? This I can't even pay attention to you, Carlos, but it is what it is. This is the podcast now. It's
What do
me,
you mean you can't
close
pay attention to
faced.
me? Oh, because
Because
you're
look at
like,
my
because you.
face. It
All
won't
right.
stop, but it is what it is. At this point, it is what it is.
Okay. So
Yeah,
this
so
is.
I had Tinder and it
Mhm.
was crazy. I have some crazy stories. One time I had a college roommate who
Mhm.
invited someone over, gave the whole address and everything. And we'll say they no longer were a match and they did end up coming over. And yeah, that was pretty great. We had to lock our doors all the whole night. And
Mhm.
yeah, crazy people are out there. So,
Did he
and
get to make mac and cheese?
I was so hungry. Listen to this. Okay, so I was thirsty first of all, and I
Uh,
am not one to just drink tap water. I don't know
Wait,
if
is
you're a
this
tap
all
water
an
guy.
analogy?
This is not an analogy.
Oh, okay.
This is not an analogy.
Because what
This
I
is a
was saying
serious.
was referring to sex. And then you
No,
started saying that.
no,
And I was like, Trevor,
no.
I was
Someone. One
thirsty,
of my
but I don't
roommates.
drink tap water. I wanted to
I
know
don't.
who you meant by tap water.
No, so they were
Yeah.
like stalking our apartment, wanted to be outside, whatever.
Okay.
I don't know if this was true or not, but I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure it was. It felt real. At one point, this girl had messaged me on Instagram. Anyways, I was so thirsty, we had a vending machine right outside, and I still remember 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, she has not said a word, so I'm gonna go outside, get a water. I get a water, go back inside, and get a message on Instagram right after. I was like, dear Lord, this is the scariest moment of my life. It was like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'll never do that again. I mean, it's not me, but still, I will never take that kind of risk.
Yeah,
I
I
went out
never
quick,
did
got
that
the
kind of
water,
thing.
shut the door, locked it. I was like, oh my God, okay, I don't think she's out there. Turns out she was.
Okay, so Tinder's co-founded by Sean Rad and Justin Mateen, and they eventually got Jonathan Badeen to help with the technical aspect of things.
Okay.
So a little bit about Sean Rad, right? Sean Rad was born in Los Angeles, California, to an Iranian Jewish family. His parents emigrated from Iran in the 1970s. Justin Mateen
Hold on, I
also
have a
had family.
question. I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but his name is Sean Rad or Sean Rad? Like first name Sean Rad or like
First name Sean, last name Rad.
that's Rad. And he's from
Yeah, for sure.
California?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
He was
cool. That's
definitely
dope.
toking it. He was toking it on the 85 for sure.
Oh yeah.
And
I mean,
so
dude.
we have two people whose families both immigrated from Iran in the 70s, co-founding and creating Tinder. Now, let's talk about Iran and the US's relationship leading up to the 70s. The 1953 coup. So the US and UK orchestrated the overthrow of Iran's democratically elected prime minister, Mohammad Mossadegh, who had nationalized the Iran oil industry. This event fostered deep resentment and suspicion towards the U.S. among many Iranians. Then we fast forward to 1979, where we have a hostage crisis, the seizure of the U.S. embassy in Tehran by Iranian students in 1979. Essentially, and that will lead into the Islamic Revolution. But essentially, we have a bad relationship between Iran and the U.S. And then we have
Wait.
these two people that have families that immigrated from Iran during that time period coming to the U.S., growing up in the U.S., going to college in the U.S., and creating Tinder. Now, this is the conspiracy.
Whoa, this
Yeah,
is
you had a question?
yeah, this is crazy. The US gets into other countries' affairs and
Mm-hmm.
puts in their own government, even though a democratically elected leader from that country is leading.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were batted 1,000. I thought we were always in the right.
No, yeah. So it's called soft power. It's called soft power, not like rock hard veiny power. It's
Okay,
called soft power. And that's basically when we go, we laid the seeds of deception, we put our guy in to win, right? But it can't
that's
happen to us,
crazy.
right? If Russia puts a few ads on Facebook, That's like unthinkable,
That's
right? That's
crazy.
crazy. That's war worthy. If
That must
Russia
be
does
the
it,
only thing we have ever done wrong.
but we've done it to literally every other small country. Just put like I'm sure we've overthrown a government for a better deal on cocoa beans. Like I feel like
I think we quite literally have.
I want to know what's the silliest reason that we've overthrown a government for. That would be
Uh,
great.
Bananas.
For sure. I forgot about that. It's the Philippines, right? Or no, not the Philippines.
Nope. It's a Central American country. I can't.
Honduras,
I think it's Panama. We like
Panama.
made
Oh, Panama.
Panama a country. We were like, we want bananas."
You heard not Black. What's that real estate company?
BlackRock.
BlackRock. You heard now that they're owning the Panama Canal.
It's great. The Federal Reserve now owns the. I don't know if you know, the Federal Reserve Chair is very close to BlackRock, so it's
Oh, for sure.
basically the U.S. owns. Wait, hold on. We've done 2 things wrong. This is crazy.
Yeah.
3.
All right. So the conspiracy is essentially they're co-founding Tinder, and the reason why they co-founded Tinder was to essentially help match young people. But let's think about what Tinder is and what is done to our values as a youth, as an entire generation. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like can sincerely believe, like from like the beginning of time, like people that are in their teenage years just want to bang. They just want to go out and it just become easier over time with the
Yeah.
use of technology and being able to reach out. So I don't think that technology degraded our brains and like made us, whatever. Even though I have like a firm theory that we should not have this much access to pornography at all times. Like I do think that pornography should have been like like you had to go through the shame of going to a pornography store and like seeing other people that are
There's a
also like
barrier.
there's a barrier. That's super uncomfortable. Can you imagine going somewhere and just like seeing someone else shopping for like pornography and you're just like, oh, you're gonna jerk off to this? Yeah. Oh, what are you interested in? Like, but it definitely stops you, right? But
Yeah.
then people were still, I'm sure,
People
masturbating.
did it, but I'm sure it's like
Yeah.
buying a
But
condom
porn
in the grocery
actually
store.
ruins our brains. Like porn actually, they've done MRI studies and a bunch of neurological studies of people that are addicted to porn. And you're seeing like resistance to dopamine. You're seeing people that have erectile dysfunction afterwards. People that find it difficult to just find someone interesting because they're so used to getting their stimulation from. It's like essentially like instead of like adding sugar to your coffee, you add crack and then you get used to the crack and then you try the sugar and it's just like, well, this isn't, choking me and calling me daddy.
Porn is crack, kids. Don't try it.
No, it's
Or
super
try
bad for
both.
you.
Just
It's
kidding. I'm just kidding.
super bad for you, and definitely don't learn from it. In terms of trying to please a
Yeah.
woman, because they aren't happy. But they're getting that bag for sure. I mean, if I had the right parts, I would. But essentially, we're looking at Tinder as something that's destroying the youth
Mhm.
because not just
Yeah.
because of how accessible it makes finding a partner, because I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is just one in the self-esteem category, right? You have a predominantly it's marketed towards for women, and women like own the market. They're basically the deciding factor. Men are just
For
swiping
sure.
around. And like those hours that they spend swiping, they could go out and talk to someone and like actually make a meaningful connection and actually find someone to hook up. Um, Speaking of going out and talking to someone, Trevor, do you have like a pickup line that worked for you?
Pickup line that worked for me online or an actual pickup line? Because
Whatever.
I'll tell you what, I was not the talker, so I was the guy swiping. So
Man.
this definitely, like, I'm not saying it's good at all. Definitely not. But I think it's just the era we grew up in. But anyways, yeah, I used to get the flower emojis, and I
Uh,
used to make a little bouquet with the flowers, and I go, here, I got you some flowers. And that was
that's
very
cute.
sweet, and it very much
That's
goes into
sweet.
my personality. It worked. It seemed to work. It worked like
My go-to was, do
I
you
think I
know
did
how
the math. It
much?
was 3.7%. I'm just kidding.
You had a whole stat sheet, broken down by race of the woman, like what works well.
That would be wild. The name ends in I? Oh, okay. That's guaranteed. That's guaranteed if I do the flowers.
I
Name
have
ends in
two
I.
go-to IRL pickup lines. My first one was, do you know how much a polar bear weighs?
How much?
Enough to break the ice. Hi.
Oh
That's
my
that
god.
great.
I might. Yeah, yeah. You might have got me there.
And then my second one, which always worked, was you chase a woman. You have to see her off in a distance, right? Like I'm talking about 2 blocks, and you run after her full speed. right? And you just keep shouting, "Excuse me, ma'am, ma'am, excuse me, excuse me." You drop something. And then when you finally catch up to her out of breath, you say, "My jaw. It was my jaw. You dropped my jaw back there." Always works. That never makes them startled, never makes them feel threatened. Yeah. So Tinder is owned by Match Group Inc., which is an American internet technology company that operates in huge, it owns a bunch of different other online dating services, including Tinder, Match.com, Hinge, and OkCupid. So the same company owns all these different
Really?
organizations. Yeah. Match
That
Group Inc.
is pretty nuts. That's
Yeah.
pretty nuts.
So we have this company that's basically has all this data of like what we're interested in, who's mating with who, and
That's pretty scary.
if they wanted to, with their programming and with their algorithms, they could choose like what races populate and what races connect with what races and which like or like not even necessarily races, like even economic backgrounds, even like neighborhoods that you live in, like back nationalities, like they can
Different
essentially
things you
with their
want, yeah.
algorithm choose who, I mean, obviously it's up to the people to interact. But if you match with someone that's like, whatever, you're gonna likely try to interact, just because you're on this thing to meet people.
Yeah. How many bots do you think they have simply looking for this data?
Dude, you know what we're gonna do to get that? Like, we're gonna make a Tinder account for this podcast and just have it as an
Oh, this is
advertisement.
great. This will go great with my wife.
Just, just,
I'm
it's
getting a Tinder account, guy,
why do you
because
have Tinder on your phone? It's free advertising. We're gonna make it a Tinder account for the podcast and just try to match with people and just tell them to listen to the podcast.
we're gonna match with people and then we're just gonna put them on the podcast. We're gonna act like we like them for a full 2 months, and then we're just gonna say we're gonna go on a date on FaceTime, and then they're just gonna be on the podcast. I am totally
The
just
long
kidding.
con. The long con. I like that. So
That
essentially,
would be wild.
the whole conspiracy, just to wrap it up real quick, is we're looking at this country that has poor ties with the US. These people emigrate, probably just for better resources, but whatever. Have kids, and these kids create probably just for a better
Better
future.
resources. It was better opportunity. Are they
That's
coming here for
fair.
gold?
I see
They did go to
opportunities
California.
as resources.
You see what as resources? I'm sorry.
I see opportunities as resources. So,
Okay. I guess you could make use of that. That's fine. Yeah. Go ahead.
and essentially they create Tinder and destroy our generation
So
forevermore.
that's why
But
we nuked them.
space news. A new species of bacteria discovered on board a space station could have profound implications for astronauts and long-term travel through the cosmos. So essentially, they found this new species of bacteria aboard this Sansum equipment in this space station, and it's able to break down gelatin, which could be useful in environments with limited nutrients. It is also resistant to radiation and oxidative stress. So finding a new species of bacteria in space is pretty dope.
Nice. I
Profound
mean,
implications.
sounds like it's very important. I think a biologist would know.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
Trevor, do you have anything bad that a country is doing right now?
I thought we were gonna go to space, but we'll
Oh,
go
I forgot
there.
that you
Let's
had
go
a
there.
space thing. My bad.
I have a space thing, but I am just gonna read it because I am not very good with space, but that's fine. Looks like in space news, China wants to lead global space weather network. China's unveiled plans to build the most comprehensive ground-based space weather monitoring system to warn us of dangerous solar eruptions, which is an ambitious effort to bolster global preparedness. Do you think China's doing this for the whole globe, or do you think China might be just doing this for themselves, or
Wait,
maybe just for
that's
clout?
so crazy because I was gonna do an article about about how Elon Musk company, SpaceX, just got a $55 million grant to put up a weather station in space. Like
Wow.
just got a grant to put up and it's supposed to be the most profound, world-breaking weather station in space. So we're essentially just competing with China
We're
about
gonna
who's gonna
beat
control the
China.
weather and make it rain in Seattle year-round.
Yeah, we're gonna make it rain.
Yeah, for sure.
It's raining, man.
Tell me something bad that a country's
Yeah,
doing.
let's go over the bad thing. So what's a bad thing country is doing? Also China. So China is also doing something bad.
Can you do
Okay,
it
and
in your best Chinese accent?
please no.
Can you do your next segment entirely in your best Chinese?
Listen, I understand cancel culture is not here anymore, but I am not going to. I'm not gonna dumb down to that. I'm not going to do a Chinese
But
accent.
it was okay to do an Italian impersonation, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I have some Italian in me.
All
I'm
right,
white.
continue.
Italians basically are somewhat white.
Mhm.
I mean, okay. So in China's Xinjiang region, I believe that's how it's said. It's the east side of the country. There are over 1 million Uyghur and other Muslim minorities that are being placed in concentration camps across the region. These are considered vocational training centers. These are to counter extremism, the government says, but in my opinion, or actually in the United Nations opinion, it's
Mhm.
really to make the region more Chinese. So they are erasing Uyghur culture, language, and religion. The reason is they want to urbanize kind of that region and make it more Chinese. They're trying to make the world more Chinese.
And that's what
Or
you
trying.
find wrong with it, more Chinese people?
Yeah, it's just the China. I'm just kidding. No, it's the fact that they're deteriorating a whole culture. I mean, simply because of their religion and simply because the way they look, simply because of what they came from, they want them to be more Chinese. So it's mostly children that they take to these places to teach them the Chinese ways, and then they try to bring them into cities, and then they try to bring them back to the regions to build up some infrastructure to make it look more like what China would like.
And teach them how to make iPhones.
Basically. Well, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else China's known for, but now I got iPhones on my mind. So,
My good news is from Japan.
what is? Oh, good
Uh-huh.
news from Japan. What's the good news from Japan? You want to do a Japanese accent?
Oh.
I'm just kidding. No. Whoa, we almost did the South Park episode.
Hello. Yeah.
My God,
I'm
that
kidding,
was so funny.
So Japan is one of the only places on the planet where a large mammal species has been reclaiming the habitat, which is actually good news bears. So bears are reclaiming their habitats in Japan. Their population has been growing. They're getting more dominant. And we actually have a few encounters. So a flight was delayed in Japan, in a Japanese airport, where because a bear went on the runway. It was in the Yamagata airport, and prompting immediate closure of the runway. The bear, which was about 4 feet tall, was spotted on the runway around 7 a.m. on Thursday. And then we also have a black bear appeared in northern Japan's Yamagata. Oh, I did it the same thing twice. Okay, there was a premature end to a golf tournament in central Japan. So bears overthrowing Japan is my good news. No, it's
What,
nice to see. It's nice
It's
to see
nice to see
come up.
bears taking over a country.
No, I mean, okay, so let's say
It
there
is good
were
news. I'm just
219 people were attacked and there were 6 deaths in the last year due to bears. And I'm not
That
saying
part
that's a
not so
good
good.
thing. No, that's not a good thing. But it's nice to see an animal like coming up. It's like on the
yeah.
come up, like a large mammal too. I'm not talking about some like some fish is like really going hard. I'm talking about like, when's the last time you've
But
seen a
that's the
mammal have a come up?
When's the last time I seen a mammal have a come up?
Yeah, like a mammal like really like start populating and doing well.
Yeah, wolves in Yellowstone.
Oh yeah, because didn't we bring them there? Didn't we like bring like wolves to help with the population?
We brought them back. So I don't know. They went extinct. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. So I'm gonna butcher this a little bit. But in the 1930s, they were like, "Oh, all of our livestock is being the humans there. Basically, their livestock was being diminished because of the wolves. So they basically started hunting them and bringing them out elsewhere. And then eventually, the whole ecosystem fell apart because the old wolves ate this, and then that thing helped with the grass, and that grass helped with the certain trees growing, and so it was like a whole mess. So they introduced the wolves. There was therefore less deer, I think is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then since there's less deer, there's actually grass growing, which brought more ecosystem. And then it somehow led to trees. I do remember that. But yeah. I'm definitely the greatest teacher of all time. I mean, I gotta tell you, I definitely didn't butcher that one bit.
Well, everyone, thanks for coming to school.
You're dismissed.
I'm Carlos.
I'm Trevor.
And this is ADHD School. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
And women.
And others.
Okay.